Is my screen visible?
Yes, please.
Okay, so welcome to the day 3, I would say, of the finance acumen module. So today we want to tackle, we want to talk about a very critical topic in finance. So as CEOs, we do not have to do any calculation. Just, remember in mind, we have to only see at the figures and see, what is making sense for us and what are the things which we need to take into account. That is the only, objective as a CXO role. So why we want to talk about, cash? So we have seen about, we talked about profit a lot. If profit is like a score in the game, cash is like an oxygen that keeps you alive to play that game. So if you understand, if there is no cash, can the organizations survive? Can they work? No, not at all. So today what we are going to learn is that how the profitable companies go bankrupt and what cash flow really means. That's what we are going to learn. A US, in US, a bank study was carried out. And what they found out was that 82% of the business failures are due to poor cash flow management. So it's important that we understand what cash flow management is. So the our agenda is we'll talk about, profitable but bankrupt company, profit versus cash flow. What are the differences? Then we are going to talk about the 3 types of cash flow. Then we'll dive deep into operating cash flow. We'll do little bit of, case studies. Then what is the working capital trap? We'll talk about that. Then what are the metrics? And then we'll talk about what are the best practices and our learnings. Okay. So how can you be profitable, yes, yet bankrupt? So this is the statement of a company which had $15 million in profit. What do you say about it? How does it look like? And then if you look at their bank balance, it is negative $2 million. So what does this indicate to us? So that is the thing that, the company is, on the one hand, it is showing profits. On the other hand, it's showing that there is a deficit of $2 million. So the result lies in that profit is not the cash flow. Accounting profit is just a concept. See what happens when we talk about, on day one, we did the P&L. So how does profit comes? When we are, first thing is our revenue. When the revenue is there, then, it consequently leads us to the profit. When we look at the revenue or when we look at the $15 million profit, what would happen in the organization? The board will be very, very happy. The shareholders are happy. And CEO is also celebrating. Yeah, we got the profits. But actually, what is happening if you look at the red card? The bank account is showing negative of $2 million. The company, what does this indicate? That company cannot pay its suppliers, it cannot make the salary payments, and it is facing huge deficit even to meet its working capital. How does that happen? Because profit is just an accounting concept. The time the sale is made, the revenue is booked. But what happens? In reality, it is the cash that matters. So And when does the cash come? Once you make the sales, it will show the revenue and you put it in your P&L account. But when does this cash come into your account? When the suppliers, when the people who are procuring your goods, you may have given them a time of 60 days to pay you back. So in 60 days, you are going to get the money. But today it is showing as a positive thing. But are you realizing that 60 days or not? Number one. Number two, you have your own further suppliers to whom you make the payments. From your buyers, you have taken a payment term of 60 days. But what is the payment term that you are giving to your, suppliers? Have you taken a similar payment term like 60 days or maybe 75 days or more? Or have you taken payment term of 30 days? So though you are getting in 60 days, but you are paying in 30 days. Is this kind of a scenario happening or not? That you have to take into account. Okay, so now what we are going to talk of, profit versus cash flow. What are the core differences? So we'll talk about, item by line item. So let's talk about row one. So revenue when earned versus cash when received. Just put it in your mind, Imagine, you sell something for 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh of products you are selling to another customer on credit. The day you sell, what your accountant will do? He will record the 1 lakh rupees in the revenue. Immediately, as the sale is made, it is recorded. Even though the customer is paying in 60 days, this accounting method is called accrual accounting. You don't have to learn or remember all these. These are just concepts. You need to understand just the concept. I may speak something extra, but that's not required. Whatever is required, I'll let you know. So revenue is recorded when earned, not when the cash arrives. This is what you need to remember. Ki revenue is recorded in the books when you make a sale, not when the cash arrives. Clear? Can we proceed? Yes, show me a thumbs up. Sridhar, you look confused. Hold on, just hold on. As we move forward, it will be clear. Just park your thoughts. Expenses when incurred versus cash when paid. Same logic as we did in first, in reverse. If you receive 5 lakh rupees from a supplier, your supplier is selling you something and you have to make a payment of 5 lakh. So your accountant, what he will do? He will immediately record that expense. Even if you negotiated to pay that in 90 days. Is this clear? Right? Yes, no, maybe. Clear? So just remember one thing. Revenue when earned, expense when incurred. As soon as you make a sale, the revenue is earned. Immediately accountant will log in. And as soon as the company makes the expense, it will be logged in. Just understand it. Includes non-cash items versus only actual cash movement. What does this mean? Non-cash item we did yesterday. What is it? Depreciation, amortization. So depreciation is a perfect example. So if you buy a $1 million machinery today, you pay for it today, but how the accounting will happen? we say the life of the machine is 10 years, so it will be broken down into 10 parts. That's how the accounting happens. That's clear to you that we did yesterday? Okay. So then what happens? So we have bought a machinery, the expense is there, and it's not getting in 1 year, but instead we will depreciate it over 10 years. So $1 lakh every year is an expense. But what happens to the cash? Cash we have paid in the first year on, but the expense is being deducted year on year. Profit is accrual based. So cash flow, what happens? Only actual cash movement. Whereas here includes non-cash item like depreciation. Governed by GAAP or IFRS, these are the accounting principles. Like GAAP is general accepted accounting principle. So there are certain regulations through which the profit is accounted for. But what happens for the cash flow? It's only when the cash is in or cash is out. Only two things. Either cash will come inflow or cash will outflow. Cash flow tells you if you're, it's monitoring the in and outflow of the cash. It tracks the liquidity. If you have excess of cash, your liquidity is high. If you do not have, then no liquidity. Then, are we profitable versus can we pay the bills? What do we mean by are we profitable? Profit tells you if your business model is working. If you have a business, then it tells you, yes, your business is working well. The profits are there. But cash flow tells you if the business will survive. If you are not able to pay the bills, will the business survive? All the suppliers will run away. So look at the example, the 100K sale on a 60-day payment terms. But your net cash, what is the status of the cash? Cash impact is $0. You're going to get 100K in 60 days. So you're not going to see a single dollar today. For 2 months, there is no dollar. They will come in 100K in 60 days. So if you need to pay your suppliers in 30 days, what happens? You are in negative. Yeah, you cannot pay. So is this slide clear to you? Yes? Wonderful. Very good. So I have made it, very, very simple. Because as CEOs, we need to know just the basic distinction. We don't have to calculate everything. So now we have to understand that there are 3 types of cash flow. First is the operating cash flow. When we talk about operating cash flow, what does this mean for us? Is our core business generating cash or not? If we are running a business, we are selling products, we are, paying our employees, we are collecting from the customers, would we have the cash left over or not? That is what it simply means. This can also mean, whatever customers are buying, they are making payments to us, whatever employee salaries, our rents, everything that we are, this is the cash from the operations. Why do we need this? It is most important for sustainability, like we are going to survive or not. Then we have the investing cash flow. When we talk about investments, we mean the long-term assets that we are buying for the company. If it is a product-related company, we may be buying the machines, the equipment. Like I take the example of an airport. So the entire building, the runway, the baggage handling systems, the passenger boarding bridges, each and everything that forms part of that airport is the capital expenditure for the airport. So, whatever cash we spend or we receive on the long term assets minus the capex, no need to learn the formula or everything. Once you are a CEO, you will get all these things. You just need to have that fine knowledge that what is the importance of each one and what do I have to look at. That's it, nothing more. So when we are talking about investment, what are we trying to do? We are trying to spend that cash on expanding our business. This is when we do the capital investment, because we are either setting up a new business or we are trying to grow the business. So think about it like, next year, how our company wants to grow. What is the plan of the company in the future? Is the company going to make, any investment either in equipment or sometimes even in buying another company or building a new factory or building a new, premise? Like these days, multiple companies are going and buying, making, data centers. So if a company is planning to open a new data center, so that is a capital expense. If it is a negative in investing cash flow in the company, there can be a, it can be positive or it can be negative. Even if it is a negative cash flow, it doesn't mean it is bad. It may mean that the company is investing heavily in the future growth. But at this moment, it is consuming cash and doing a lot of investment. Is it good? Investing cash flow clear? Very good. So now let's come to the financing cash flow. This is the cash from lenders and investors. This is how the organization or the company or the business, how is it getting the funding? Where does the money come from and where the money is going? So sometimes the company may have taken loans, and what else would happen? The company is paying the interest on loans. So that is the financing cash flow. And if you look at the formula, total cash flow is the sum total of all the three cash flows: operating, investing, and financing. Operating for sustainability. Yeah, it's a FCF can get added in mid-year and keep on adding it. Company needs investments. Yes. That's true. This will keep on, changing. It's not a fixed thing. It will all depend. Every month, the statement is there and it gets cumulatively added. And at the end of the year, it will be a cumulative statement of the financial year. True, that's fine. Okay. So this, just we are doing a small example. And look at it, we'll go very slow, and no need to take it to your, head that it's complex or something. We just have to understand the intent of each and every line item. That's it. Okay. So operating cash flow we are talking, which was the first one, which was required for our sustainability. So think when we start, just leave the formula at the moment, which is there at the top. At the moment, just forget it. We'll start with the, first look at all the items. Line 1 is the net income. Net income is shown as $31.5 million. So net income, you remember from the day one? Net income, when we talked of, it includes non-cash item, timing difference. So we need to kind of adjust it. So that is why in the net income, in the operating cash flow, if you now look at the formula at the top, operating cash flow is equal to net income plus D&A plus changes in the working capital. So formula you don't have to remember. You will get all these as a CEO. You just have to understand the intent. So depreciation and amortization. Why do we add this back? As we talked about, that this is a non-cash item. Depreciation. So it's not that, it's going out. It's not actual payment. So that is the reason it is getting added. Okay. So you have already paid for the machine in the first year, but we are taking the depreciation in all the years. Clear? So that is why it's getting added. I'm just telling quite, theoretical concepts. Then we will subtract increase in the accounts receivable. What is accounts? Sujoy, you have a question?
Yeah. So depreciation, usually we reduce it, right?
You just joined or you were there in the class?
No, I was there, but now I got little.
Okay, no
I'm
worries.
not
Because
able.
we talked about it, I thought I just saw you. No worries.
Yeah, yeah.
Please go ahead.
So depreciation, see, revenue from revenue, when you negate depreciation and amortization, then only net income comes, right?
Yeah. What we are trying to do, we are trying to calculate the operating cash flow. Operating cash flow has a formula, which is net income plus depreciation. We are not deriving this formula, just take it that this is given. That operating cash flow is net income plus depreciation and amortization and changes in working capital. This is the starting point. I
Okay.
can't see you now, Sujoy. Yeah, okay. Yes. So just you take that this is the starting point, this formula. And the figures that are given, those figures are given to you. As a CEO, you will be given this, all these items. What you have to do, you have to just make sense of this item. If it is a positive value, what it means for me. If it is a negative value, what it means for me. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
So just, at the moment, what I would say, so we are not becoming a CFO. So we just want to understand what each figure implies to me. How can I, make business sense out of it? So if I get profit is going positive and I just, be ignorant to the, cash in the company. So today's session is all about, as CEOs, we do not only look at the profit, but we have to look at the cash flows as well. Be mindful of the cash flows as well. And what picture cash flow is presenting to us, we need to understand. See, if my accounts receivables is increasing, what does it mean for me? If my inventory is increasing, what it means for me? Is it good? Is it bad? So the fine, I would say the nuances, the increase or decrease, what it implies for the organization. As I mentioned in the first slide, in US, a bank, they did a study and found that 82% of the companies, they are, they were making profits, but they had no cash to survive. And the businesses had to close down. And the CEOs were oblivious of the fact that, they were not even looking at the cash. Just profit is there and they are celebrating. So today's session brings that fine line that once you are a CEO, do not just look at your profits. That is the intent and not the calculation. This will all be presented to you any which way. So now tell me, you have any further question or any understanding gap that we can bridge? Sujay, are you clear? Can we move forward?
Yes. I'm clear overall. I'm just trying to understand this depreciation and amortization.
Just let's move forward, and then maybe if you have any doubt still, we'll stop there and take it forward.
Yeah, just one question, if you don't mind. If you can take an example of depreciation in this context.
Which one?
So in this calculation, let's assume this is for a bank.
For a bank?
Yeah. For a bank,
So
okay,
what I'll do, I'll take very generic example.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
take a very generic, not related to bank or education or IT industry or anything.
Yeah,
So if like you buy a car,
correct.
okay? So today you bought a car of 10 lakh rupees. You pay the amount today only. The bank will, the car company will not say that, this 10 lakhs, you pay me 1 lakh every year.
Correct.
Once you are buying it, paying the full amount today.
Correct.
But what happens if you are buying this car for a company? What would this asset, how would you account for? That is, done through depreciation, which comes as an expense. And if you choose, that a car's life is 5 years, then you depreciate, 20% each year.
Okay.
So that is the principle of depreciation. We talked about it yesterday, actually.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll proceed. If you have any doubts, we'll just take it up again.
Yeah.
Most unicorns in current markets report thousands of crores of revenues, but they are reporting losses mostly due to OPEX. How do they survive year on year? See, what is happening in the case of unicorns is that, they are getting a lot of funding and all. Series A funding, Series B funding. Classic example of this is, that Uber kind of service, BlueSmart. Are you aware about BlueSmart?
Yes.
This is
Yes.
how it, faded.
Typical scenarios.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move forward. So depreciation is now clear to you. Now we are moving to accounts receivable. What does accounts receivable mean? It is the money that customers owe to us, but they have not yet paid. They just owe it to us. If the accounts receivable increased by, went up by 5 million, what does it mean? That 5 million more is trapped in unpaid, advances. Is this clear? That this is getting, though we have shown this as a revenue, but the cash has not arrived yet. So if my revenue has increased, accounts receivable has increased, but the money has not yet come, the cash is trapped for me, for the business.
Yes.
Now, talking about, that is why it is shown as negative. Then we talk about increase in the inventory. What happens in the case of inventory? What is inventory?
Inventory is the goods held in stock,
Very
in
good.
store. It could be
Yeah.
in a retail business, or it could be in a manufacturing unit, whatever the raw materials you have in your stock in inventory.
Perfect. So what happens when we are selling products? Like, let's take example of Amazon. So Amazon is selling products. So, they have 10 minutes delivery, 1 day delivery. So if they do not have items in their warehouse, in their stock, can they provide you the items?
No.
So whatever is lying in the on the shelf in the warehouses, in the big shops like Big Bazaar, Smart Bazaar, so all that is the inventory that is lying till the time it is sold. It is the cash which is trapped. Yeah, stock in hand. Perfect. So is this clear to you? Show me a thumbs up. Very good. Then if we are increase in accounts payable, what is accounts payable? I spoke about it. Whatever we have to pay to our suppliers. If we are delaying that payment, that is positive for a business. If I have to get some money in 30 days, and if I have to pay in 60 days, that is the best scenario.
Yes.
I'll get early and I'll pay late. But in businesses, what was, a study found out that it's actually the reverse. To make the sales, people are giving that discounts. Okay, pay me in 60 days, you pay me in 90 days. But they were not able to get those discounts from their suppliers. So now if you calculate the operating, cash flow, so we see that, despite 31.5 million profit, actual cash generated is 35.5 million. Because non-cash expense, that 10 is getting added. If you add 10 and 2, 12 you add and 8 you minus. So plus 4, 34.5. 35.5. This is clear? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, good. I know it's a bit heavy, but we are going at a very, very slow pace. If you want to repeat anything, we'll do it. Don't worry.
I
Okay.
just had one question. So, like, I have already posted it. Maybe like you must see it.
Who's speaking?
This is Ravi.
Oh,
So,
sorry. Yeah.
yeah, I have posted the question. Maybe you have not seen it. Like,
Oh,
to
sorry.
what
I didn't
extent
see.
that the cash flow can be negative? Because we have to have a limit, right? Like, a company should understand, okay, below this, the cash flow should not go.
Acha. Okay.
Right, threshold.
See, normally, I'm telling you, normally in organization, that doesn't happen.
Ah.
So as a CEO, you have to, look and set those boundaries. That what would be my, term from supplier. Having this understanding is a very big thing, I'm telling you. So you
Yeah,
are
that's
fortunate.
right.
This is really a thing. You do some research on it, that is our, organization, our businesses paying attention on the cash. So that is why cash is king, always remember.
Yeah, but the no, but the important point here is this is a more reflection on your processes, right? So how you have booked that revenue, you have booked that profit, but you're not realizing that revenue because your accounts receivable team is sloppy. Your accounts.
Actually, no, we cannot say it is sloppy, because they have set, because what happens when the people go, sales team, when they want to sell, they go overboard. They just want to, book that revenue. In getting, enthusiastic about selling, they will, give bigger terms. And when those people who are selling in the company are not the ones who are negotiating with the suppliers, that is a separate team.
Yeah.
So that match is not happening because of that, I would say, incongruency in that business. And they are not even aware. If you look at your own company, I would request each one of you just reflect on your own companies. people who are doing sales and the people who are, procuring things, they are not in sync. They never talk also to each other. They are on their own parallel paths. There is no alignment. And there is, no one to bring that alignment, which is the role of the CEO.
Yes, it's not a reflection of the actual product or the services that the company is dealing with, right? And so it's basically that misalignment, like you said, between the
Perfect, right? You are bang on.
okay.
Because, in the enthusiasm to sell, if I am buying a product, I would also say, I have to pay, I want longer, time to pay. So 90 days, I'll say, oh, I'll pay in 90 days. So they also want to, sell the products. Okay, we'll give you 90 days. One day we will talk about negotiations also.
Yes.
Yeah, but then there's also governance,
This
financial
is
governance association.
actually, this should be, but actually it is not.
Okay.
But
Okay.
practically 30, 60, 90 days is very prevalent, very much prevalent in payment terms to vendors and receivables,
Yeah.
to maintain the business,
Okay. So now what we are going to do, we are going to do a small, case study. So look at this and look at this data. So you can just note down or you can just click a picture of this so that when we move to the next, there's a company, the revenue is 200 million, net income. If you want, you just click a picture, that would be good. So we analyzed a tech company. The revenue was 200 million. Income was 31.5. I've just taken the same example from yesterday. Adjusted EBITDA is 67.3. And on day 2, what did we say? That this company looked healthy. We were trying to sell this company. You all remember yesterday? We were trying to sell this company. But now today you are getting this additional cash flow data, which was not present yesterday. So what you get is that depreciation and amortization is 10 million. Okay? So these are non-cash expenses and naturally we have to add back. Accounts receivables, they have increased by 8 million. So as we talked about, they are the people, who have to pay us back. That is the 8 million in revenue, which is locked up, which is not cash, is not available to us at the moment. Inventory increased by 2 million. What does it mean? That the company has bought additional $2 million of inventory. Why they took that additional? Maybe they are trying to stock it up for growth. But that cash is also sitting on, that is also locked. Accounts payable increased by 3 million. It means the company is taking longer time to pay to its supplier. This actually helps the cash flow. It means they are holding on to, 3 million for a long time. Then capital expenditure is 15 million. This is the money the company would be, using it for their expansion, like buying new servers, the cloud infrastructure, the technology. Though it's a big number, this capex, if you remember, this doesn't show up on the P&L. You remember from day one, this doesn't show up on the P&L. So this is not there. Then there is a debt principal payment of 5 million. What does it mean? When you have to pay back for the loan, then also it's not appearing on the profit statement. Debt principal payment. What appears on the P&L is the interest payments. If you made any principal payment, that doesn't appear. So now we will, do the case study together as we move to the next slide. So what is the operating cash flow? So we'll just do it all together. this is a simple, look at the simple formula. Operating cash flow is net income plus D&A plus changes in the working capital. So net income was our 31.5, D&A is our 10, and changes in the working capital. Changes in the working capital, how does it come? Just accounts receivable and inventory and 8 and 2 and 3. 3 is 3 minus 2 minus 8. Clear, everyone? See, accounts payable is what we have to give. Accounts receivable is what has to come. Inventory is which is, locked up. So these are all minus for me. What is plus? Only the accounts payable is plus.
Receivable.
Accounts receivable and inventory is minus. Is this clear? Don't get bogged down in the formula. Don't get bogged down in the figures. Just look at what is the outcome. So you will, any which ways, if you ask to your CFA, I want the operating cash flow, you will get this figure of 34.5. Just look at this figure. So investing cash flow also is whatever you make the expenses, amount spent minus capex. So here the first figure is not given. So capex is 15. So capex is we are going to invest 15 million. So financing cash flow also, if you remember, we did over here, cash from the lenders and investor minus debt, equity, dividends. So cash from lenders and investors figure is not given. So we took 0, that there is no cash. Minus debt. So minus debt we got it. Debt principal repayment, payment, if you see, last figure is 5 million. So therefore, this comes as 5 million. Is it clear? Simple. So what is the net change in the cash flow? So 34.5 minus 15 and minus 5. So net change in cash is the 14.5 million. Is this point clear, everyone, before we proceed? So what does this indicate to us? What does this indicate? Just think for a moment.
So the company has got the liberty of spending about $14.5 million.
Yeah, it has a true cash of 14.5.
yeah.
Perfect. Very good.
In
So it
hand
has
cash.
that, so all these cash flows are important for us to understand. Basically, the intent is that. So if we look at what is the free cash, because investing cash flow and financing cash flow, they are tied up. So what is the, available? So from the total, we have, 14.5 as a percentage of our net revenue, 31.5. So if we look at it from the 31.5, what we started revenue, free cash is only 14.5. So means only 46% of the accounting profit becomes
Cash in hand.
healthy or safe. What percentage is good amount of cash in bank to be called healthy or safe? So it is healthy. 46% is good, healthy. Firstly, it has to be positive. You are able to service all your, you have available for your capex. It is available for reinvestment or, available to give dividends to your shareholders. If you are creating value for your shareholders, that is good enough. As such, there is no, I would say, at least I am not aware of, there may be that, this minimum is called good or this is very good, or that bands I haven't come across.
It will be subjective
But
to
good
the
question. Maybe I'll also have a look at it today. Interesting question. I'll also have a look at it. Yeah, Sangeeta ji.
I was saying this the ideal cash flow can be subjective to the type of industry and the type of business we are.
Definitely, it will all, what if there's heavy capital
Intensive,
intensive,
yeah, capex
then
intensive industry.
capex would be very, very high. So naturally, the free cash would be less. But consulting companies, they have too much free cash available. Like at one time, I was working with Jindal Power, Jindal Steel and Power. And that time we had 8,000 crores of cash sitting in our, income statement. 8,000 crores.
What profitability? Yeah.
So this is, but is it good? Is it bad? Lot of cash sitting is also not a good sign for the organizations.
It
Because
could
it's
be
idle
listed.
cash. It's idle cash. No,
It's idle cash is sitting. What is it doing? You have to,
Invest.
reinvest and
Yeah,
dividend.
you can't miss
Dividend, they don't give
opportunities.
everything.
yeah, we call it non-performing assets. Non-performing assets, no, if it's just
Right.
sitting there. Yeah. NPS.
So too much is also not good, I would say. So there is a fine balance. And normally I haven't seen in any other company so much of cash sitting. That was also because they, set up a power plant, and that power plant during that time, I think 2012 time, 11-12 time, the power rates went up to 17 rupees to 20 rupees per unit. And that power plant had come up, and it was summer peak time, and that year they could sell most of their power, which was produced at about rupees 2 per unit, was sold at rupees 17 to 20 per unit. So these are, I would say, a short term, a bubble. We can call it a bubble in today's parlance. So how is it going? Just a check in between. Going good? Understanding? Don't take it too heavy. Just we have to learn at a small, simple pace. Okay. So now we will, that analysis, what we are talking of, how does it look to us? So first line, net income. This is positive 31.5. It's a strong bottom line. So it means the business model is working well. So if you are a CEO, it is a good news for you that yes, in my company, the net income is positive 31.5 million. Then what is it that you are looking at? You are looking at operating cash flow. Okay, operating cash flow is 34.5 million. It is more than the, net income. So if it is higher, it's a, positive sign for you. It means that a company is working efficiently. Efficiently, it is converting the profits into cash. So the 3 million difference that it is coming is because of that depreciation. Don't get bogged down. Leave it. Okay, na? That's okay. Then we will talk about the free cash flow that we calculated. So free cash flow was 19.5, which is 44% lower than the operating cash flow. Why it became lower? Because some capex we are doing. Just that you have to remember that free cash flow reduced because capital expenditure is happening. Then what is cash after debt? Means cash which is available to us after the interest payment, after the debt payments, that we have to take care. So after all these things, only 46% of the net income is free cash that we saw in the last slide. 46% only became of the revenue, only became the free cash. That is what matters to you. So at the end, whenever you are talking to your CFO, just ask him, yeah, what is the free cash to me? Give me that. Don't tell me about revenue. Don't talk to me about profits. That is there. I am happy about it. But tell me about the cash also. That is what matters. So now this is the question. Is this cash consumption sustainable at the current growth rate? How is the company growing? Is, 46%, is it okay? How, then what you have to do, we were just talking about it and this idea now immediately stuck into my mind. You have to look at, the other companies in the same industry, and there must be benchmarks. So how do my company rank against the benchmarks? That has to be seen. If we are doing better, very good. If we are not doing better, what are the measures we can do? So now you all know this. I don't need to tell you how the profitable companies fail. The liquidity crisis, I would say, the death spiral for the organizations, how they die out. Just read it through, and if there is any, difficulty, only then I will explain. According to me, now you know it. Is it clear? High sales growth, high revenues, company is growing rapidly. Everyone is celebrating in the company. Revenue is up by 50%, 100%, 150%. The board is thrilled. Everyone is enthusiastic that we are selling a lot. Then when the production, increases, when we are selling too much, what is happening? The working capital will, requirement will increase. Why? But nobody is, here nobody is talking about that celebration, that yes, we need more working capital also. More sales will require more inventory to sell. More, we need the more raw materials, more accounts receivable. It will increase. Agreed? Then this accounts receivable, all the cash will be trapped. You will have to maintain some inventories also. Then what will happen? You have taken the payment term 60 to 90 days from the customers. Now the customers are taking that much time to pay you back because that is the industry standard. You cannot speed them up. That is the standard. You have to follow that. And your payment to your suppliers are due in 30 days. They will not wait for that 90 days. What is happening? That cash gap is happening, which is 30 minus 60 or 90 days. Now you have this cash where you need the cash. You have to pay your suppliers, but you do not have that cash. And you have, mostly you have some part you have already paid your suppliers, but your customers have not paid you up. Then what happens? Then you are not able to pay the bills. Then you are in that, trap. Every month that passes by, that trap and that gap is going on increasing. And once that gap increases, it leads to bankruptcy despite being profitable. On paper, you are profitable, but the company is not able to pay the bill.
So, are there no laws? I mean, I'm talking about, let's say, RBI laws or SEBI laws, or I mean, which can catch this, or let's say some audits which can catch this.
No, they are not bothered, na. Why should they catch it? It doesn't impact them. So it's about the organization to take care of the health of the company.
They can hire the consultants to keep them checked, but
Yeah,
not.
you can. That if
Yeah,
an
yeah.
organization wants, if you have a strong finance, if the CEO is mindful, they know about this. This is the reason nowadays in the companies are also investing for training in their CEOs, in their, top leadership team, and making them understand all these concepts. All the
Right.
big companies are doing that.
Yeah.
So this is, I would say, a cheat sheet for a CEO. So you have to see that, if your operating cash flow is less than your net income, for multiple quarters it is happening, it means your earning quality is poor. Your cash isn't keeping up. This is a red flag. Look at it. You have a negative free cash flow for long times. It means you are burning cash. The business is unsustainable. Number of days sales is outstanding, 60 days, 90 days. Customers are paying slower. Collections are deteriorating. Means even if at 60 days the term is there, but still you are not able to collect. This is, a red flag. Then declining cash balance despite profits. That we have already talked about, that working capital trap will happen. Then increasing reliance on debt for operations. If you are taking too much loan just for meeting your working capital, that is again a red flag for you. So immediately you need to go for cash flow audit and a correction plan. So just if you red flags, if you remember, the whole lessons that we did is not required to remember. Just these 5 points, if you keep in mind, you are able to take care of your business. So these are kind of, best practices that I have just captured for you. That you should have a daily cash visibility. Just have, these days, everything is on the dashboard. Set real-time dashboards. Then you have a 13-week cash forecast with your CFO that you want to see, rolling weekly updates. What's the best scenario? What's the worst case scenario? Optimize the working capital. Accelerate the collections. Reduce inventory. Nowadays, if you are, you know about manufacturing companies, they talk about just-in-time inventory. So the moment they need it, then they will have it stored in the vendors' sites only. They will pay only when they get it. So they do not keep any capital locked up in the inventory. Then there is separate growth from operations. If there are, some operations where are you able to get some cash separately from that? Are the businesses self-sustainable, self-funding? Then what you have to do is a stress testing of the cash flows. That modeling 20 to 30%, you model that, if the revenue declines, then how much is the reserve that I need? So this is a kind of, nutshell, that cash is not the profit. In the profit, actually, we talk about accrual accounting, which masks the cash reality. And operating cash flow is the truth. The business would be, is it sustainable or not? And working capital, if you do not have the working capital, you need to take loans for meeting the working capital requirements. Then it means the business is not doing well. Free cash flows matter. What is left after everything matters. As we talked about, 13-week forecast, weekly rolling forecast. If we are able to prevent the crisis. Keep on watching the metrics, cash conversion, OCF ratio, FCF margin, DSO, and never grow faster than cash generation supports. So look at the cash generation. That is the must. Any questions? Yes.
Thank you.
I know it was a bit longer.
No, but it's a good session. Good awareness for us.
Okay, Sridhar.
Yes, sir.
It's not, so what you put over there, when you said that you empathize with companies that are laying off, I don't think that's the case. If you look at Microsoft or Amazon or any of these guys, their operating cash flow is, if you look at these numbers, is awesome. That's not the reason.
Yeah. Laying off is not because of this.
Not because of that, but they're trying to mix up the numbers there because they invested so much on the AI, bringing up the hardware and all. And the payables are also, in debts, as far as I've heard from the, people.
Actually,
Could
what
be a wrong
happens,
assumption.
at the end of the day, if you have that manpower and there is no work to do, what do you do with that?
Let them go.
Yeah. So there, see, with their
Yes, yes. There are multiple, not only Tally, there are multiple softwares which create this cash flow reports, and this is part of when the businesses operate, they also create, but some people they do not pay attention to it. The attention is on the revenue or the profits. Any other question? Is it going just check in between? So is the pace okay, or are you feeling it's very heavy and okay? Great.
Yeah, for what we will do, it's okay. I mean, we're not getting into the finances of the company, so it's fine.
Because I understand though the concepts are a bit, heavy, but these are all must. We have to just remember the essence. That's it. Not, remember the formulas or anything. That there will be a line for, line of people to supply you all the data.
Yeah, the accounting teams and the CFO has to go into the
Bilkul.
nitty-gritties. Yes.
Okay, any other question before we sign out? Okay, good. Then tomorrow we'll again catch up. Tomorrow we'll do a
Maybe
very,
we'll be
interesting
talking about-
topic.
I think in the future classes, we may be talking about the valuations like we hear in the news, companies like Zomato, who are posting losses, but their valuations are very high. So that concept also, if briefly, one day, if you can.
Yes, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about valuation, how to, evaluate a company, ROIC. So we will have about 10, 12 classes, and post that if you need something additional, we'll take those up also. If something comes to your mind that we want to take up these additional topics. First, let us finish what we have in our, kitty. And then if you have additional requests, we'll take all those things as well. But I'm trying to bring up all those concepts which are required for a, C-suite leader.
Yeah, so the difference between companies which are having good operating cash flow versus those that are filing for bankruptcy is just that discipline. I'm sort of,
So there may be multiple reasons. I would say this is one of the reasons. We can't say this is the sole reason, but there may be, operational inefficiencies, and there may be multiple other reasons as well.
Okay.
This is one of the reasons.
Okay. So it will be interesting. There's this term called cycle time, right? There's something called as a cycle.
Yeah. Cycle time is when you are going to get your, money.
Right. So I think I mean the more no. So the number of in a year, if you can realize the revenue. No, there's some concept. I mean, I'm trying to recollect. So the difference is between the companies which are doing good versus the companies which
See,
are not.
what happens if you are getting the money, account receivable time, cycle time for account receivable is less than account payable, then you are super. But if your receivables is less than, accounts payable, then you have to, then take loans for meeting the working capital requirements. Or you are feeding your own capital, which you have, which could have been invested into other businesses or other growth opportunities that you are sabotaging.
And I think that's when the tactics of the CEO or the marketing team, sales team come in, right? You don't sell to everybody who is coming for an order. Sell for those who are capable of buying back. I mean, selling, paying back. a lot of small businesses actually, close because of that.
What happens in the organization, the sale targets, people get their performance rating is linked to whatever you have,
Incentives, yeah.
sales you have done. So that time the intention is to make as